Today we're chatting with Steve, and he's taken us on a roller coaster of a ride of different emotions and different things that have happened in his life that's only happened to him. But we're really aware that, people listening and watching to this, wherever you are, might be going through similar things to do with suicide or depression, anxiety, fear, or drugs or alcohol or abuse. And so, Steve, in the last few minutes of our show, I'd really love for you to share some type of practical advice for those people that are listening and watching from your experience and what helped you get through all of that.
Wow, this is going to be a bit of a marathon, but we'll have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah.
So, hey, look, I've been walking this walk for 37-ish years, and I've seen the faithfulness of God so many times. I just want to share with you one story about a guy called Hoppy. So I've written a book, and this is it here. It's called The Raw Edge of the Christian Experience. And Hoppy he features in one of the chapters where Aussie men can't cry, but Jesus men can. So Hoppy's, I met him at Goodna in Brisbane, or outside of Brisbane. I go into a Repco store and I'm picking up parts, and as I'm leaving, he makes his presence known to me. He gets up the side window of my car and he tells me there's a problem with his vehicle, and we get talking about it. And he, I told him I think it was the fuel pump, and gave him a basic price. And then he goes, we talk motorcycles. He's Odin's Warriors member. He's got a vest on. I'm a member of Road Riders for Jesus. I'm in the van. I'm not in the leaders that day. But he spots something on the back of my van as he had approached, and it's the face of Jesus and two big hands that are stretched out with nails stuck through them, through the center of the hands. And it says a mechanic can fix most things, but he can fix it all. I had a sign writer put it on there. So Hoppy had seen that. We're talking motorcycles. We're talking all sorts of stuff. And he goes, "What, you Christian or something?" And I'm thinking, he's seen it. And I said, "Yeah, mate, what about you?" And he exploded. He go, "I got too much, blankety blankety blank for that sort of crap, And I said, "Well, I'll give you some advice, mate. Get yourself a white shirt and a tie. Go to as many church meetings as you can. Give all your money away to some preacher somewhere and read the Bible 50 hours a month and pray 50 hours a month and see if you can pay off $1 billion moral debt with 2 cents worth of hard trying. You're screwed, man. I'm screwed. Religion does nothing." But that bloke on the back of my van, he wrote out a check that's big enough to pay for anything, and he signed it in his own blood. And if you'd have the guts to cash it in, it will change everything. And he just looked at me and he goes, "You put that straight." You put a lot of colourful language into saying that as well. But listen, he got it. 2 hours later, I'm at his house. He's trying to wave me off the property. He's having a big argument with the woman. They're going for it like a couple of cats caught in a washing machine on a spin cycle. And he doesn't, and I just knew I had to be there a bit longer. So I called him out of the house. I said, "Mate, let's look at the car while I'm here." He said, "We're not going to fix it. We don't have the money." I said, "Mate, I don't care. Let's look at it. Let's get things underway. And if you want it done later, we'll sort it out." So I end up at the backyard with him. And he's so wound up and so mad. And the dogs are going crazy. And he gets out of the house and he's grabbed hold of the quarter panel on the back of the car, and he drops on his knees. He only had one leg, actually, one prosthetic leg he'd lost in a motorcycle accident. And he's howling his head off, and he says, "Every time I look at you, you frighten the hell out of me. What is happening?" And I said, "Mate, it's not me, it's Jesus. He's not here to hurt you. He's here to fix you." And he's just freaking out. And I talked to him about the violence. He said, "I'm glad you're here. I would have killed her." And he was talking about the lady in the house. And he was determined that she wanted to die and that he should go to jail for it. So he thought that she was pushing her buttons to actually make everything go really far south. And they'd had a very violent relationship, and it was out of control. And I said, "Mate," I said, "you're not in charge, are you? The violence is in charge of you." And he told me that his parents had been really violent people. His grandfather had murdered someone. His great-grandfather had been murdered in a ship in Port Adelaide. There we go, Adelaide, Brisbane again. I don't know how all that works, but and And I said, well, these things can go 3 or 4 generations. And he goes, well, that's it. I'm effing cursed, you know. He just completely lost it. I said, it's all right, mate. Jesus fixes this stuff. It's only a formality. And he's bawling his eyes out. He says, I can't even look at you. What the hell is going on? And I said, mate, Aussie men can't cry, but Jesus men can, and you're changing camps. This guy just stopped. I saw him open his heart to the Lord. I don't know what happened, but I laid hands on him and I commanded the spirit of violence to come out of him. He saw a big black thing come up and leave his body. I just saw his countenance change. And then he got up and he said, I've got to get upstairs and get the weapons out of the house. I said, well, that sounds like fun. Can I come with you? Darn sight more exciting than fixing cars, I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
So he pulls out this 3-seater lounge and he's filling up 2 plastic buckets with hand weapons. And on the way up there, I said, can I talk to you, missus? Can I talk to your lady? Her name was Lisa. He told me her name. And it was the first time he looked kind of nervous when he mentioned her name. And I got in the house and I yelled out, hey, Lisa, love, can you come out? I need to talk to you. And she come out and she just looks at me and she looks straight past me and she sees Hoppy. They called him Hoppy because of his one leg. And she's just staring at him, can't keep her eyes off him. And he looked like a different man, but she is seeing a transformed human being. And I said, Lisa, love, I said, he's just taken Jesus Christ into his life. This stuff works. You need it. Are you in or out? And she goes, I'm in. And I thought, well, that was simple. So I wanted to pray with her. I just thought I'll just, so I put my hand on her shoulder and I said, can I pray with you? And I started to pray and her eyes rolled back into her head and all I could see was the whites of her eyes. The rest had sort of disappeared and she starts to fall backwards and I held her up and I said, hey, Hoppy, get over here and hold on to her. She's going to topple. And he drops his buckets of weapons. He comes flogging his way across the room and he gets his arm around her. And the two of them are there just bawling, tears all over the floor, just soaking into the old floorboards of the old Queenslander house. And God is all over him like a fat kid on a cupcake, I'm telling you. And I didn't know what to do with him. And I get this one word, marriage. Now, it just popped into my heart like, you know, and over a period of time, I guess I've come to really know when God's saying something. But in a circumstance like that, that's not the word you have. That's not the word you say. But things are just rolling along so fast. All I can do is just sprout it out of my mouth. And I said, are you two married? And they just shake their heads. I said, no. And I thought, oh, well, I didn't expect you would be. I don't know what I'm going to do now. And so I thought, well, this is awkward. I'll go downstairs and work on the car. And I said, listen, Hoppy, I'll go and work on the car and you work out how you're going to propose to this lovely lady. And 10 minutes later, he comes down the stairs, grabs me by my biceps, and shaking the daylights out of me, saying, she said yes. You know, it was going to be a murder scene. It was a dead set deal, and God intervened. And this has been the stories that I have seen so many times with people right through from drug addiction and outlaw bikers and people that are absolutely lost. But God comes. And if anyone, I want to tell you, the advice that I would give any listener here today is if you would dare have the guts to open your heart to Jesus Christ, he will turn up. He will not ignore you. He will not ignore you. When he was on the cross with his hands stretched out, nails through his hands, he was not ignoring you. He was thinking of you. Listening to this interview right now, listening to this life burst right now, he was thinking of you.
That's right. And yeah, of course, Lifeline 13 11 14 is always there, as Steve mentioned as well during the interview.
Thank you for watching this short clip of Life Burst. You can like, subscribe or follow for more or head to rawcut.com.au.